The famous Roger Wagner of Hyperstudio fame from a long time ago, for some of us that remember that. How are you doing this morning?
Great, thank you.
But you're now even more famous because now you've got HyperDuino, right?
HyperDuino, that's
HyperDuino,
right.
and what is HyperDuino?
Well, you've come to the right place because for the first time in the world ever, we can now connect a Chromebook running the Chrome browser to a model that a student has made. So, for example, as this video plays, this is a report that a student did on volcanoes, but if we now pan to the volcano, maybe down a little bit, you'll see that as she talks about the parts of the volcano, the model lights up.
Okay, and she's doing that. That's doing that using some kind of input-output device.
Well, what we really use is the HyperDuino extension for Chrome. I'm just going to turn the sound down a little bit on her.
Okay.
So this is an extension for the Chrome browser, which means although we're showing it on Chromebooks for the first time in the world here, we also have Windows machines, we have Macintosh machines here.
So we don't have to have it on a Chromebook.
Right.
I mean, okay, that's good.
You wouldn't be surprised to know that you could attach a Mac or a Windows machine to a hardware interface. Most people would be surprised because it's never been done before.
On a Chromebook.
Yes, and if we look towards the back of the booth, you can see in the corner there or the corner here, this is a typical high school. This is done at a high school in San Diego.
Let's go over and talk about that real quick. Let's see what that is.
Well, actually, I want to finish showing you.
Oh, okay. Okay, then we'll walk through it. Okay.
But just for examples, what I wanted to show you is just say that a school that's contemplating a makerspace can start with the projects they're already making, trifold, science fair projects, models of volcanoes and solar systems, and connect that to the digital content. Now there's one more here.
Okay.
One more little neat thing, which is this model is connected. The reason it's called the HyperDuino is that what I invented was a piggyback board. This is a standard Arduino. This is the HyperDuino Shield. And what these do is they go together, and now you can just plug in using connecting cables.
Which are easy to get.
They come in the kit, so that's the HyperDuino kit. We're selling it at TCEA for $50, but usually it's $65. So your LEDs and sensors just plug into these sockets.
Okay.
That plugs into the board. So I mentioned
and so really that's what's happening right here is that they've programmed the sensors go off at a specific time, or there's some action going on the.
So the key phrase really is the HyperDuino, where videos control lights and sensors control videos. So we've seen here, for example, in her video, how as she was talking, it lit up the model.
Right.
But now if I suppose I want more information about the main vent. If I touch the main vent, then this will actually load a separate video.
Now I'm going backwards. Now I'm going, instead of going from the video to the device or okay, that's awesome. That's pretty awesome.
So the video can control lights and sensors can control videos. So this is, so you'll notice they're different videos. Right. So it's really up to the student as they create their project. They can have a video, turn on lights in a model, or they can have sensors that either jump to other parts of their video or completely different videos.
So it's kind of like what they do at rock concerts and things like that. When they get to a specific song, the lights do specific things. And
in fact, that's what we call this as a playlist.
Okay.
So on the screen for this extension, this playlist really just has time, sort of like a radio station. Oh, if you're on this video and it's at 2 minutes, 30 seconds, play this.
Do this.
Turn this light on. And if I touch a sensor, then it says, oh, bring up a different song, bring up a different video, and show me something about, in this case, a magma chamber in Iceland.
That's pretty awesome. That's a neat way of doing presentations that are not PowerPoints, for God's sake. So yeah, that's very interesting. So what grade level are we talking at here? So
the volcano model, some of the things over there are done in second grade, and those projects are done in high school. Really, another way of looking at this is as though you were creating an interactive museum exhibit, and I hear there are even adults that make some of those.
No, not adults. Let's go look at this high school one real quick. Is that okay? See what they got. Let's see what you're doing over here. It doesn't have to be turned on. Can you just explain it to us?
Yeah, so the idea is pretty simple. This was a report from a student at the Idea Center High School in El Cajon. It's an alternative high school in El Cajon, San Diego. And so they wanted to do a project on different styles of art.
Okay.
So in this case, what they linked to was YouTube videos.
All right.
And so
when they would press something on the board, the video would show up here. Okay.
Right, exactly. So.
And who doesn't love a good Bob Ross video?
I'm impressed that you recognized Bob Ross.
Everyone knows Bob Ross of a certain age.
Well, let me tell you, the students at the Idea High School will be even more pleased. So this is a playlist.
Okay.
And so normally you would just attach, you would just basically on that we've plugged in the HyperDuino, except I haven't plugged in the HyperDuino in this model yet.
That's fine. Can the HyperDuinos be piggybacked? Can you do like more than just?
You don't really need to.
Okay.
There is actually an interesting setup where what the students do is connect each model to the next. So, for instance, you might have like a Rube Goldberg machine.
Right.
And one's model does something with servos.
So when they get to that last one,
when it gets the next one, it can actually do something that interacts with the next model.
That's cool. So you could have that's very, very interesting. Okay, so let's get down to the nuts and bolts. You already talked a little bit about cost, $50, but 65
is
normal cost. So what comes in the box?
Let's go look. Let's back up a little bit here. That part. So this is the HyperDuino Kit.
Okay.
And what it includes is a start with me package. The LEDs, the servos, the HyperDuino shield. It even comes with
your very own volcano.
My first volcano model.
You know, who doesn't need a volcano?
And really, I think it's about time in the 21st century, in the year 2016, that we move beyond vinegar, baking soda, or Pepsi and Mentos.
Yes.
So if you want to bring your school's makerspace into the 21st century, do it with the HyperDuino.
Eliminate all baking soda.
Really,
go digital. You got a digital volcano.
Yeah, no mess to clean up.
That's awesome. So what inspired you to do this? What was the impetus that kicked you off?
As you know, I designed Hyperstudio, and so some years back when the HyperDuino came out, I worked with Software Kiev to allow Hyperstudio to work with the Arduino. And I did presentations here at TCEA. But what I found was that although I had solved the software side of working with an Arduino, so you didn't have to do the programming with the curly brackets and all that stuff.
Right. Kids love that.
Studio, yeah, you know. So you have we solved the software side, so you could just set up objects with Hyperstudio. But on the hardware side, you still had to do the breadboards and all the resistors and the wiggly bits.
Right.
So that's when I really came up with the solution of putting the resistors and the circuitry that would normally be on pretty much every breadboard onto a piggyback shield. So as soon as you plug this in, you're ready to go. You can do all kinds of experiments. This has a temperature sensor and lots of other.
That's great. That's great. And I suppose there'll be more things coming out in the future.
We're working on, for instance, an advanced kit that has additional sensors. Just finishing the HyperDuino part. So with Hyperstudio, that runs on Mac and Windows. It didn't solve the problem for Chromebooks. So that's where we came to.
And there's a whole lot of Chromebooks out there right now.
There's a whole lot of Chromebooks.
Yeah.
So this is where we're running an extension. We're running an extension for the Chrome browser and with the playlist.
Okay.
So if you have Mac or Windows and you have Hyperstudio, you can use that with the HyperDuino. Or if you have Chromebooks, then you can use the HyperDuino extension for Chrome.
Now, there's a lot of interest in makerspaces right now. A lot of interest in campuses putting together some space, maybe in a library, some makerspace. This would be a good way to get students going.
Absolutely. Seymour Papert talks about low threshold, high ceiling. And really what I saw was a lot of kits either are, for instance, a lot of times they're sort of like an island. You do a starter kit, but there's no next step.
Right.
So this is designed to allow somebody to start very simply with projects they already know, and then easily go off in many different directions.
That's great. That's great. And of course, as more things come out, it makes it a lot more interesting, the add-ons that you're going to come out with.
Yeah.
So if somebody's interested in the product, what do they do?
Go to hyperduino.com.
HyperDuino, let me move in so we can say exactly how to spell that. HyperDuino.com, all right.
HyperDuino.com, there are sample videos of student projects, price lists for things, and lots of great resources.
That's great. Roger Wagner, thank you so much for talking to us this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Say hi to El Paso, Texas.
Oh, all right. Hi to El Paso, Texas.